Saludos amigos, los invitamos a escuchar la mesa redonda de Roundtable, donde discutimos los temas del día, hablando de política, educación y otros temas, locales, regionales y mundiales, por USA la Radio. Amigos oyentes de USA la Media, están escuchando USA la Radio, la mesa redonda de Roundtable desde el corazón de la ciudad del amor fraternal. Les habla Fernando Méndez. Dani Ramos controlando la máquina digital, y aquí estamos un día después de que Donald Trump otra vez apareció en escena nacional hablándole a un grupo de conservadores republicanos, muchos de los cuales son ya famosos por diferentes razones. Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, Kevin McCarthy, applauding a man who basically has destroyed the Republican Party, but they all seem to be breathing easily because he said he's not going to start a third party. He's not going to start the party of Trump. Well, that's because he can't. He won't be able to. Because the other part of this has been in the news, has to do with the Southern District of New York and the troubles that he's going to see. His former lawyer, Michael Cohen, says it doesn't look good for Trump. And we know it doesn't look good for Trump. Two things out, two of the headlines. We'll talk about that after we speak about the local news. But two items. One, the mysterious appearance of around $30 million when his campaign needed the money, all connected to a Las Vegas hotel. Nobody knows the true source of that money. That was sort of laundered and then appeared in his coffers in the campaign. And the other one that people have spoken about, written about for a long time, his payment to Ivanka and Donald Trump Jr. for consulting fees, and which is, people find that difficult to explain in terms of his children because they were already part of the campaign. So supposedly they would be earning a salary for being in the campaign, on the campaign team. And so what are these mysterious consulting fees? Well, we can sort of speculate about that. It's interesting. But it is surprising, at least to me, that so many Republicans with conservative credentials will applaud the appearance of Donald Trump, the man who has destroyed their party, lost them the presidency, lost them the Senate, lost them the House, lost them many governorships, lost them two very important seats in the Georgia election. And this man should be in jail for having incited his people to riot and invade the Capitol. So, an unindicted co-conspirator he is right now. And actually, he is the conspirator in chief. There were other people there, Giuliani and Donald Trump Jr., but the main culprit is Donald Trump. So, um, but there are other news. Well, it's surprising to realize that that happened. But here we are, related to COVID. We have some numbers on COVID later, but one of the things that has happened is that there's a third vaccine that has been approved. The Food and Drug Administration approved use of a single shot vaccine by Johnson and Johnson um, over the weekend. The vaccine becomes the third available in the US, with the company expected to ship 4 million doses this week and 20 million doses by the end of the month. So that's extremely good news, because one of the problems with the vaccine has been the lack of inventory, the lack of sufficient vaccines available. So there are sites that have opened. FEMA, as we said, we have in Philadelphia, we have the Pennsylvania Convention Center on Broad Street. It's a brand new site, and the other one is at the Leacora Center, Temple University. So those are places where people can go get vaccines. An estimated 100 million doses are expected to ship by the end of June. And that is only from Johnson & Johnson. So there are other that Biden had bought from Pfizer, I believe, or Moderna, anyway, like 200 million. So that would make it 300 million by the end of July. And so the approval bolsters projections of a coming surge in vaccine supply between the currently available vaccines from Moderna and Pfizer. BioNTech officials project 3 million doses per day being shipped across the country by April. 3 million per day by April. So that'll be, if my math is, that'll be 90 million by the end of April. So I think this may move a lot faster than expected as the shipping gets more organized. The distribution also becomes more equitable because there are parts of the country, in the poorer sections of this country, where blacks and brown people have not had the same access. One of the reports was that many of the vaccines had gone to the suburbs of Philadelphia, and so that's obviously a problem. The new drug, which requires just one shot and can be stored at normal refrigeration temperatures, is expected to significantly simplify logistics. So that could become the vaccine, the dominant vaccine, the Johnson & Johnson, only one shot. It just depends on the volume that they're able to produce. Clinical trials in the US, South America, and South Africa showed the Johnson & Johnson drug to be 66% effective at preventing moderate to severe COVID-19 cases, 72% in US trials alone. While lower than the 95% efficacy reported by the two already available vaccines in preventing symptoms, the Johnson & Johnson shot showed complete protection. 0 reported cases out of almost 44,000 volunteers against hospitalizations and deaths. That is significant. That is important. 0 deaths as a result of that vaccine. Totally a positive development. Preliminary data suggests the vaccine is also robust against emerging COVID variants. As we know, that's one of the concerns for many scientists right now. The UK, United Kingdom variant, the South African variant, the Brazilian variant. I think there were at some point there were seven, maybe, and the scientists said there are more than that, but anyway. So this vaccine may be effective against all of the different variants. More than 48 million people in the US have received at least one vaccine dose. Alaska currently leads the way in percentage of residents vaccinated. Alaska. So more than 513,000 COVID-19 deaths have been reported in this country, while the rolling average of new cases has fallen below 70,000 per day, roughly equal to the peak seen in July. So that's a really positive development, good news. And I know there are many pessimistic reports, people who are not happy with the number of vaccines available, with the sites where they can be vaccinated, et cetera, et cetera. But overall, it's night and day, because the liar in chief is no longer at the White House, and so the number of people infected has gone down because more people are wearing masks, because more people are being vaccinated. Eventually, we will reach that herd immunity that was spoken about before, and that Donald Trump called not herd immunity, but something else. Maybe Martin Pratt will remind us what Donald Trump called herd immunity. Hello, Martin. What was it that Trump said about herd immunity? He didn't call it herd immunity, or something else. Do you remember? He used a different word. Martin, I'm mute. Can't hear you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't remember. He was, I'm
herd mentality.
I have PTSD.
No, he said
Trump, all my front lobe hurts. It hurts right here.
Trump said herd mentality as opposed to herd immunity. I remember now. Anyway, some people are in trouble, like not only Trump, Cuomo. Cuomo is in trouble. Huh? Yeah, I'm sorry about that, because actually initially Cuomo was one of the public figures who was sort of leading the way with information about COVID, and his response as the governor of New York, where New York was leading the way in terms of numbers and all that. And then we find out that our idol has clay feet.
You're trying to go biblical on this? You're trying to be biblical? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yes. Talking about idols with clay feet. No more clay feet. Actually, mud feet, probably for the one idol that spoke at the CPAC. The golden calf.
Yes, that was a just dystopia. I mean, I would say it wasn't one of his worst speeches, but obviously, that's comparing him to what?
Martin, what are you doing? Are you doing a treadmill or something?
No, I was trying to find something for my wife.
You're trying to do what?
You know how the wives are. I said I was trying to find something for my wife.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And you called me, right? I didn't expect you. I was waiting for such a long time. You got me when I was walking around, so I didn't want to miss the opportunity.
I see. I apologize for that. I gave away your secret. Are you walking around? Okay.
It's okay.
So
this is COVID. This is what we do.
It's COVID, yes. And COVID is still with us, and it will be with us for a little while, even though I'm very optimistic. I was just reporting on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, 20 million by the end of the month. And so that's going to improve the whole inventory and situation that right now there is not enough.
How do you feel about that? I don't feel comfortable about Johnson & Johnson. I really don't.
I feel actually, hey, the developments are very positive with Johnson and Johnson. It's a one-shot vaccine. They have tested it in South America. They have tested it in many places, and it's 72% effective in the U.S. trial alone, and effective in South Africa and clinical
I'm not as
trials.
concerned
And
about
so
the
I
effectiveness.
feel good about it.
I'm concerned about their reputation. You know, if they could make sure that babies receive, you know, asbestos and everything else that was in that baby powder. I mean, you know, if you are heartless enough to, I honestly can't. I will take the other two. I'm not touching Johnson stuff. They just don't have a good reputation.
That's fine. I know you always choose to be negative about most of these things.
It's not negative.
So that's okay.
I said I'll take the other two.
No, that's just stock and trade. That's how you like to roll. You roll negative. So like, it's okay.
No,
I understand.
Let's take the other two.
No, I understand.
Taking 2 versus 3 is better.
Yeah, but somehow you always find an angle where you can state something negative. But that's okay.
We live in a bad.
Hey, Martin,
we live in a bad time.
Martin, yes. I understand that. And that's why you are on this show, because I always need somebody who has the wrong point of view to be on my show. So it makes me look good, actually. It makes me look smart, well-informed, and all that. So I'm glad you came on. Anyway.
Wait, you get a haircut? You got a haircut.
For people, yes. For people who have not seen Martin before, heard of Martin Pratt, he's a social media master. He's very well informed in spite of the appearances of today, but he's usually well informed.
Not well informed about Johnson & Johnson.
No, apparently not, but that's okay. You cannot bat 1,000 all the time. You know what I mean? So, yeah. In fact, you know, you're in the 300s right now, so you better get out of the slump.
What do you think about the increasing and of how Philadelphia has taken away restrictions?
Well, all I hope when they do that is that it's not premature, because we know many states who went ahead and did it, and then a week later had to take it back because there's a surge. So I am hoping that this is well done. What is amazing, look, I had a contractor come to my house recently, and he was not wearing a mask, and I went out to the door, and he said, "I am surprised the number of people in this town who are wearing masks." I said, "Where are you coming from?" He said, "New Jersey." I said, "Well, I don't know about New Jersey, but we have been very responsible, and I think that explains the lower number of cases in this city as compared to other cities." So,
did you tell him that you had experienced COVID?
Yes, I did. And
what, did he put a mask on?
At that point, he sort of stood 10 feet away from me. You know, that's the funny thing. You tell people, Martin, but you tell people you had COVID, and they'll sort of shy away from you right away, like distance. It's the complete opposite. I had COVID. I'm probably less of a danger to the community than other people who never had it. So.
What happens is they take a deep breath and they let go.
Yeah. Anyway, there's so much stuff in the news right now.
What about what about these weak donkey Democrats who already backed away from the filibuster? Now they're back.
They gave away the $15 thing in the filibuster. Yep. I don't know.
You see what's the name said about getting the House back, right?
Oh yes.
Not Trump, the other guy.
No.
McCarthy. Yeah.
McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy. Yeah. Well, and Mitch McConnell is on the same page. I think what the Democrats should do, they should borrow a page from McConnell's book, because he will be merciless. If he was the one in charge, he would not take prisoners. He would do whatever he wants to do. You'll remember how he was. and these guys are
The
pussyfooting
problem
around
is
him.
the Senate, they don't have any control of the Senate. So Nancy Pelosi can be merciless as she wants to. But to your point, I guess that what they could say is that we tried and they kept blocking us. That's why we need more. That's why we need more Democrats in the House and more in the Senate. So that could be the play.
Yeah. But I don't know
We'll
if we
see.
can wait 2 years for that.
Oh no! To me, they have to go back to the filibuster. They have to get rid of like they have.
They
I don't
have to
see
do
them.
it.
Yeah, they have
Yes.
to.
Because otherwise it would be like the Obama years, the first years where
Exactly. They're gonna
Obama
have
couldn't
to.
do anything.
They're gonna have to, and
Yeah.
then we get stuff done.
Yeah, and most of the stuff that he needs to do cannot be done through executive orders, like
or through parliamentary,
oh boy,
or through the budget reconciliation.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do some things, but you can't do everything through that.
No. And for it to sort of be permanent and to be effective, you need to have a majority vote for it. So even if it's not a super majority, you need more votes.
What about the guy from West
now
Virginia?
we have
the guy from West Virginia. The guy from West Virginia.
Manchin, Joe Manchin. Yeah. So
I don't know.
He's gonna be a thorn on the side of Biden because he's not fully there. He's not helping them 100%. He, and this whole the $15 minimum wage, he was opposed to it, so they dropped it because even that support was gone. Like Collins also. I don't even know why anybody pays attention to Collins. Every time there is a vote, Susan Collins' name comes up as a possible vote in the right direction. That's all. And she hangs everybody in the balance. Everybody's waiting for her to decide. And then we should know which way she's going to go. So I don't know. Anyway, there was a really bad piece of news in the international scene. More than 300 schoolgirls were kidnapped from a government school in northwestern Nigeria on Friday. So it's the latest in a string of mass kidnappings by armed gunmen in the region. No group has claimed responsibility for the raid, but there are bandits from a loose organized crime network that may be responsible. And they desire to have the students to hold them for ransom. So I'm telling you, that's not the first one. I mean, we know how many times they have done this over there because it's a way to finance whatever nefarious activities they do. So
it's horrible. It's very sad. I think that I don't know. I mean, I do believe that we have to intervene, even if it's through NATO or through the UN. There needs to be something on the ground over there, because this just keeps bubbling up, and then of course, eventually, when we do something, they've already built up, a massive army.
Yeah, I know. We're like we need to have UNICEF to have teeth. UNICEF should, because it's an arm of the UN that actually could provide soldiers and do something more efficient than speeches or.
Yeah,
I'm fed up with that. It's like, the one time that George W. was sort of right was when he went. He said the UN was a nice debating team and they were not doing anything. So let's hear it. Let's see what you're going to do.
And it feels like once again that we're always behind. We're never ahead. Like, I mean, it has been a long time since we've been ahead when it comes to foreign policy.
Yes, and the Republicans are trying to block everything right now. They're trying to block Merrick Garland again. Come on, give us a break. Here's a guy eminently qualified, and he's a great public servant. Stop playing, stupid games. But again, you're right. The Democrats are folding. And that's disgusting what they're doing.
I think they need to hear from us.
Yeah, well, they might hear from us through the vote. I think that a lot of people are going to be fed up with Democrats who are sort of namby-pamby about these situations. I mean, like, get real. I mean, you have the support of the people, obviously. If we have at least that 50-50 thing, that
Right.
means something. Now use that. Maybe
Right.
limited power, but you have it. So use it. So I'm not happy
Exactly.
about stuff going on there.
No, I'm not either, Fernando. I mean, it's just it's problematic. I think I was trying to give them time to get the COVID relief bill passed before I started really bashing them.
Yeah.
And I'm still willing to do that until so basically once April 2nd gets here, all bets are off, and it's time to force them to go do what we've sent them to do.
Yeah, this whole thing with objecting to Merrick Garland because his policies are sort of akin to whatever Biden thinks. He's not expressing opposition to Biden's ideas. And all of a sudden, like these are the same people who watched Donald Trump and Bill Barr destroy any credibility in the Justice Department. And now they are all of a sudden they found religion.
Yep.
That's one thing about the Republicans right now. They defy common sense, logic. Like you said, why is Ted Cruz over there kissing Donald Trump's ass when Donald Trump accused his dad of being involved in the Kennedy administration, in the Kennedy killing?
I know it's legal to say ass, but I just thought it was funny.
Well, but it's true. I'm sorry. I apologize if it was.
No, I agree with you.
Nobody's offended, but
I think that's that. But that's good. So I think that what I hear in Texas is that possibly not a guarantee, but they do believe in 2028 or 2032 is definitely a Democrat in that place, in the place of where he's at. So for Texas, it's a very long game. It's like almost like Virginia, or not Virginia, North Carolina. Sorry. But it will be interesting to see. Is there a lot of construction happening in your neighborhood now? Because soon as the weather broke.
Yeah, I don't know. There is construction. Hey, listen, we'll have to take a short break here in USA la Media, the Roundtable, la Mesa Redonda. Les habla Fernando Méndez. Martin Pratt nos acompaña en el día de hoy y está nuestro colega manejando la máquina digital, Danny Ramos. Regresamos en un momento. Saludos amigos, los invitamos a escuchar La Mesa Redonda, The Roundtable, donde discutimos los temas del día, hablando de política, educación y otros temas, locales, regionales y mundiales, por USA la Radio. Señoras y señores de USA la Media, estamos aquí de nuevo con La Mesa Redonda, The Roundtable. Nos acompaña en el día de hoy Martin Pratt, les habla Fernando Méndez, Danny Ramos controlando la máquina digital. Bueno, I don't know, Martin. I think that somehow we got carried away, and I bypassed a break because I don't know. Maybe because
you're so happy to see me.
No, it's because you came late.
You mean I was waiting? I was waiting.
Yeah, but then you come on and you would mute. So like I don't know what's wrong with you. You're not all there right now. Anyway, I saw one of the talking about frustration. Have you seen Adam Schiff? He's so concerned because the Republicans are determined to sort of bypass this whole January 6th attempt to overtake the government by the forces of Donald Trump. So he's not happy with that. And he was on MSNBC this morning talking against Trump for that and about the CPAC and and the criminal behavior of those people. So he's determined to. He and Adam Kinzinger is the other one who's been speaking in the media against Trump, and he's a Republican, and he says like, what is happening to this party? It's going to split. I don't know. Right now, that party belongs to Trump. And now, here's the absurd thing: is that they all sort of breathed a sigh of relief when Trump said he's not going to start a third party.
Yeah, they're idiots. They actually believe him, which is hilarious to me. They actually believe that.
Yeah, they do.
Like I don't. From your point, I don't understand. I don't know. You're coughing there, Fernando. That doesn't sound good. But you want to get some water?
It's not COVID.
Another vaccine. Another vaccine.
It's not COVID. No.
Did you get both? No. So yeah, I I haven't heard any. I think it was it. Oh no, Mitch McConnell did say that he's not. You know, he said it on whatever date it was. That is not. He's not to be trusted. Like he can't. He said for now, he's not for now. For now. So like he knows that he will change like that, and so it's just stupid. Like, I don't even know.
He really doesn't care because he knows he can do whatever he wants to do. So
right, exactly.
And at this point, even though he's not the leader in the Senate anymore, he sees that the Democrats are weak and they don't have the killer instinct that he has to do things, to go ahead in spite of whatever opposition. So anyway, city and state news. The Chester County Commissioners, now controlled by Democrats, are instituting a broad new ethics policy for county employees. Some are equating with a gag order. So it's a report from the Philadelphia Inquirer. A gag order. So they don't want people to speak, they don't complain about, my right to say whatever. Come on. I don't know.
That. Yep.
U.S. Senator Bob Casey announced that all undocumented immigrant families have been released from detention at Berks County Residential Center. Now, that's a nice name for that prison. It was a Berks prison. I followed it. It was a prison for immigrants. And they had mothers with their children in that prison. And I followed a woman. I was doing my previous incarnation on El Zol Radio. We followed that whole incarceration process. They were supposed to be there only for 20 days, according to immigration rules at the time. And one of the mothers that was in touch with us by phone was there for more than 400 days, 400 days with children, with school-age children in a prison. And so that's the best news I've heard in a long time, is that thing is gone. And now what is ICE going to do with the women? That's what I would like to know. I would like to pursue that news, because what's going to happen to the mothers? Are they being released into immigration authorities? I don't know. Are they being transferred?
Your guess is good as mine. I don't know.
No, that's that was a particular issue that I really was concerned for a long time. And my friend Emma Restrepo, we spent a lot of time on that, and she'll be happy to hear this. So
are they getting rid of the building?
That's what I would like to know. I would like to know what they're doing with the people. I don't care about the building so much. That was a for-profit prison, I believe. That Berks County ICE was an ICE prison. Immigration and customs enforcement people. In other words, the jailers that Trump used at the southern border also, and with Mexico.
Right.
That was so immoral. That whole thing. That was Steve Miller.
Very.
That was his brainchild.
And Steve, he had the nerve to speak on Biden's policy. I think he likes to. I think he is a person that likes to make you nauseous and make you sick. Like I think he gets off on that seriously, because the stuff he said, there was no reason for him to say anything. Nobody. I was asking Stephen Miller what he thought, and two, what he said was very, very. It could be very triggering for people who, follow immigration, and it's insulting. Like he like the policies he created and he advocated for are the reason we're here today.
Exactly. If I was a man, a violent man, I would go find these people one by one, and
okay, let's cut.
At the very least, would punch them in the face.
We're gonna change the topic to trees and how are trees. How is Philadelphia Garden and whatever they're called, horticulture society, and how are they installing trees?
I have a friend of the Horticultural Society. Yes,
that would make sense.
Yeah,
of course you do. Of course you do.
Anyway, yeah, you wouldn't let me say that I want to go punch these people in the face, but
come on, Fernando. Hey, this is tough.
One by one. I want to find Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, Marco Rubio, one by one.
Stop, cut. What is Danny? Stop this. Danny.
Hey, if you keep doing that, I'm going to add you to the list. Anyway.
You guys stop sniffling and coughing first, okay?
A state GOP-backed amendment to remap districts applicable to judicial election has not yet come up for a vote and may be on hold as a form of leverage, according to the Capital Star. So, state GOP-backed amendment. In other words, this is gerrymandering in a sort of
yeah.
A
friend of mine needs to come on the show. He's doing something he calls a voter assessment threat report. He's looking at 165 bills across the country. Every month he's going to put out a report of where these bills are because they're designed to get rid of voter rights. So I haven't heard about this one, but I know he is tracking about 3 bills in Pennsylvania. But that reminded me of our friend over there at the Supreme Court.
Yes.
And he did not join his conservative judges, and they were in uproar to hear Trump's, what Trump was trying to get pushed through the Supreme Court, at least to get it on the docket.
Right.
He said, nope, I'm not going to touch that.
Right.
I think that was a smart political move for him. He has tenure. What is it? Why does he have to?
He has nothing to gain with the
right. For what? Everything to lose. I mean, I'm sure his kids are tired of being picked on.
Now, what do you think of this? It's an editorial thing from the Inquirer saying that the sheriff's office should be abolished. Do we need a sheriff? What is the role of the sheriff? Because apparently it was a very corrupt, invested with patronage, and
that's interesting because they wasn't saying that when the guy was there last, and he made sure they got paid.
When it was a white guy, was it?
No, it was a black guy.
Oh yeah, the last
he got fired. He had to step down for sexual harassment.
Yeah, but I was thinking of actually the register of wills, which was different, and that guy. That should be done also. That office. No,
we need that. Philadelphia's an old city. We need to register wills.
Yeah.
But it's a woman who physically walked around the neighborhood and got votes. She did votes. She got votes. Tracy got votes the old way.
They thought about abolishing that. I don't know. Anyway,
I think we have too much old property here. We have too many people who are in their 70s that need some type of protection, as the Register of Wills provides. But and I side eye anytime someone says something about the what's her name about the sheriff's office, because they weren't saying that when the guy was paying them, making sure that their ads went to the. What happens is that, truth be told, the sheriff's office has pulled their advertising from the Inquirer, Philly Magazine, every place that's writing negative about her. Before this,
Huh.
she pulled their advertising, and that's what she ran on. She ran on equitable distribution of money, and nobody thought she was going to win. And so when she won, they immediately started writing bad, negative things about her. Like within the first 3 months, they wrote the Philadelphia Magazine wrote two horrible columns, and she was like, "I've only been on a job 3 months. Like, how can I have it better? Like, what are you talking about?"
Well,
So I find it a little interesting that all the places that she pulled advertisement right bad about.
yeah, well, I'm sorry. And then apparently you're better informed on this issue than I am, because I wasn't paying attention to that. But
Well, with this, the fact that the sheriff will be the one that evicts, the sheriff will be the one that takes property, and of course, register wills also, you know, helps with property distribution and says this will is correct or this will is not correct. So
well,
I look at that because Philadelphia has such a older population, and we need to protect our older population. Not you withstanding, everybody else, but you, because you're not old. You grade prematurely.
Well, anyway, I don't know if you saw an item about lawyers seeking to open criminal investigations into a rapper T.I. and his wife, Tiny Harris, over sexual assault allegations spanning 15 years. That reminds me of Tina Turner and I Can Tina.
That's nothing like that. This is Bill Cosby and Camille Cosby all over again.
You think?
T.I. would go down in history as the Bill Cosby of his generation. Yes.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, it's a lot of people, and they all say the same thing. And there's actually a tape out there of women talking on a show, a digital television show, but it's part of the E Network.
Yeah.
And they were making a joke about not being like basically saying, I know that when you went over the house, I know they had you over there. I know, and it was an inside joke amongst these models. Yeah, so it's so now all these things are coming out that it was an industry not what you call open secret. So it's going to be interesting because he's so connected in Georgia. It'll be interesting to see. But I think that one of the other things is that it's some of this stuff is federal. So he may, like Eddie Long,
right.
He may be able to skirt. Eddie Long was facing interstate trafficking of young men because he allegedly took boys across a young man.
Alleged, yes.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, listen, we'll take a brief pause here in Usa la Media, the Roundtable. Les habla Fernando Méndez. Martin Pratt is with us today, and Danny Ross controlando la máquina digital. Regresamos en un momento para hablar sobre Facebook. Saludos amigos, los invitamos a escuchar La Mesa Redonda, The Roundtable, donde discutimos los temas del día, hablando de política, educación y otros temas, locales, regionales y mundiales, por USA la Radio. Señores oyentes de USA la Media, estamos aquí de nuevo con su programa La Mesa Redonda, The Roundtable, desde el corazón de la ciudad del amor fraternal. From the city of brotherly love, les habla Fernando Méndez. Martin Pratt is with us today. Danny Ramos controlando la máquina digital. As I promised, I don't know if Martin understood what I was saying in Spanish. A federal judge approves $650 million Facebook settlement that charges the social media platform's facial recognition algorithms stored user data without consent. How about that? $650 million. But
yeah,
drop in the back. What is that for Facebook? That is not real money. That's pocket That stuff they change in their pocket. 650 million for Facebook, and that's what kind of settlement is that? Come on.
Yeah.
If you say 6 billion, maybe I start to believe it. It's ridiculous. Anyway, Facebook. I mean, you're the social media expert. Don't you have anything to say about that?
Not really. I mean, we know what Facebook is, and we know about Cambridge Analytica. We know that Zuckerberg tempted. I mean, he put his thumb on a lot of the scales that internally the company has been trying to. So all these companies, it's not just Facebook; it's also Google getting rid of the black woman in charge of AI, whose job was to make sure the AI recognized, all faces and all people, skin tones and all race,
Right.
you know. But so not a but, it's an and. The legal counsel for Google, by the way, is accused of the same thing that, or was accused of the same thing that Cuomo was accused of. And this is the guy in the C-suite. This is the guy who's giving advice to the president of Google. He was multiply accused of sexual harassment, and he was a black guy. So the culture from the top in all these companies, is problematic at least. So like what do I say to it? Know what we are dealing with, and let's figure out a better way to have these companies be accountable to us. I think they are trying now to have an appeals process and have more openness. But I mean, if you watched, I don't know if you watched Social Dilemma on your Netflix, but shoot, even Netflix has. I mean, it's where I think we're coming to is that we now know that white men can't run the country, and white men can't run companies like by themselves. They just mess up. They need to have more brown people, more black people, and way more women making decisions.
Yeah, they
White men by
need more
themselves,
women.
they continue to mess up. Yeah.
Yeah, they need more women of any color to be running things. Um, yeah. Anyway, so this is about science and new algorithm, because there's more right now. There's more than COVID affecting the world. There's cancer. There's like everything. A new algorithm predicts the onset of epileptic seizures, an approach that may be used to alert patients up to 1 hour before a seizure occurs. So that's an interesting development in science. I like all these new things that make our lives better. So
right.
And like I was amazed, and I think I will forever remain impressed with the speed at which they came up with vaccines for COVID. Because I don't know if you recall at the beginning of the pandemic, they were saying, "Oh, it will be up to 5 years until we come." Like in 5 years, we'll be like 5 billion people dead. So it was very quick and efficient. And then obviously, I mean, then the people who believe in bad things from the government, they always say that this was planned to kill people, etc. So I don't know. I don't think that's true. Researchers discovered the mechanism used by cancerous tumors to hijack the immune system, protective T cells. So what are the different types of immune cells? So that this whole thing with the Human Genome Project, and now they can target genes, they can target cancer, now it's possible. I mean, there's sort of light at the end of the tunnel in terms of all kinds of cancer. I mean, cancer is represented, a lot of, it comes up in different ways, but I think more and more each day there are new ways to attack those sickness. So I'm happy to hear about that. So, because I mean, other than that, then you always worry about what the stock market is doing, and right now it's up and down. Have you heard about Bitcoin? Have you done anything with Bitcoin? Yeah.
We had Ether 3 years ago,
Uh-huh.
and so we experienced some of that. We didn't have where it dropped. We had it when it was rising, so it was interesting. Like basically, if you bought, I think my wife experimented with buying $200 worth, and she was able to make $25 on the 200. So that was
Uh-huh.
pretty cool. I suggested we put 1,000 and see how much it would come, and she wasn't willing to do that.
I tell you what happened to me. I put like $200 in Bitcoin. I have no idea what happened to that money. It just went away. Someday you and I should meet and I will find out what happened to the $200.
You might be sitting on $20,000.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Anyway,
you. So the wallet. So it's really interesting. Around this topic, they were also talking about yesterday. An artist sold his album for 11 million. He created an album that was encrypted in blockchain. Sorry, and it's called NFT, a non-fundable transfer, fungible transfer. Sorry, and so NFTs are now being looked at as we'll say like a carrier for art, and the artist could it's kind of interesting because you still own the original, but you allow the person. It's almost like a lease or a way of the software as a service, in the cloud. So, but the artist is basically becoming the streamer, they allow you to do things with it or display it or however they ship it digitally to you.
They still have the rights to it, so that's great.
Right. And so those people in that space can afford to, because they're playing with money it's not like this person that has this money that is he's just getting, he can convert that 11 million into cash, but also pay a big tax, the tax bill once it hits the United States. But it's interesting to see what kind of vehicles, and who's leading the charge? MC Hammer.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Yeah, Hammer has been a big investor. He invested in Twitter when they started. He invested in the fiber optic people. I can't remember, L3. They lay all the fiber. He did a lot of investing in tech. Yeah. You would. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, anyway, so there's also Warren Buffett. It's in the news. Berkshire Hathaway repurchases. They repurchased a record 25 billion of its own stock in 2020. Buffett tells investors don't bet against America in an annual letter. So 25 billion is a lot of money he bought from himself, I guess. And another piece of good news as far as the economy, U.S. consumer spending jumped 2.4% in January, the highest increase in 7 months. And so we don't need Mr. Trump to be in charge of the country to have a good economy. I think we'll continue with a good economy. Right. And actually, he should stay away. Stay in Mar-a-Lago. Hey, listen.
What do you think? Do you think he will?
I don't know, man. I think this guy will. First, they was talking about having his own network or whatever, his own television show, his own TV network. I don't know. I think he's going to be too tied up with lawsuits to do anything, but
I hope so, Fernando. I really hope so.
Opinion. Anyway, Martin, you should really come more often, man. We miss you here.
I miss you too, Fernando.
In this show, so whenever possible, okay?
Yeah. See.
Anyway, thank you for coming today. Señores oyentes de USA La Media, agradecemos mucho su atención, su sintonía en el día de hoy. Se despide Fernando Méndez. Martin Pratt nos acompañó. And Danny Ramos controló la máquina digital. Los esperamos hasta la próxima. Saludos amigos, los invitamos a escuchar La Mesa Redonda, The Roundtable, donde discutimos los temas del día, hablando de política, educación y otros temas, locales, regionales y mundiales, por USA La Radio.